Now that we have the surface created for our corridor, the next thing we want to look at is adding a pipe network for our storm sewer system. So this is just an introduction, but there's a lot more we could do with the pipe networks. But the things that we're going to need here are an alignment and our target surface. So we can find some of this information in the prospector here, as well as the create design tools here. You can see the pipe networks. What we want to do first, I've already saved this as step 10, so make sure you do that. But under pipe networks, we're going to create a pipe network by layout, and let's call it storm sewer. And the parts list here, we're actually going to pick up the storm sewer parts list, which will down select some of the pipes and structures that we can use. The surface name, we actually want to use our most recent corridor surface, and the alignment name is also going to be the Cabernet Court. We'll leave the labels off for now. We can always add them as need be, and we'll click on OK. It brings up the layout tools for us. From here you can see our pipe network properties, our surface we can set, our alignment. There's also the parts list that we can select from if you had a particular parts list for your company. And then we've got structures, and there's quite a bit of them. We're only going to use a few. And then we've got the different types of pipes that we could use, and we're going to use some concrete pipe. This command here is what we're going to be using to lay out our particular pipes and structures. This just tells you which direction the pipes are running, and then we can also delete these, and then we can view all the pipe networks. So if we look at our corridor, mine starts at station 0 and proceeds towards this intersection at around station 9.5 here. And so what I want to do is take a look at my profile, and you can see station 0 and station station 940, and you can see we're gonna have to run our gravity fed line from the 940 station back to the station 0. So when we do this, we want to make sure that our pipe network is going uphill. So I toggled this so you can see the arrows going up. I'm going to just pick some eccentric cylindrical structures, 48-inch diameter. This is going to be the manhole that's in the middle of the road, and then I'm going to use a 21-inch concrete pipe. So now that we're actually ready to start adding the pipes, I'll click on this drop down here, make sure it says pipes and structures, and just click on it. We would be adding these anywhere we want, and we could just place them, but there's a useful feature here, which is our station offset for our specifications here. So instead of just picking, we can use our station offset. So I'll click on this. The shortcut as well is just 'SO. I'm going to pick my alignment here, and then what we can do is specify a station. So I'm going to use station 5, and for the offset I'm going to go 6 feet, which will put it halfway between our travel lanes, so your tires aren't going to be running over your manhole all the time. So you can see there is our manhole cover. The next one I'm going to add somewhere around maybe station 200, so 200. Also at 6, and you can see it draws in this blue pipe, and these are our manhole covers for our structure. I'll add another one further down the way. So we went to 5, 200, let's go to 400, and an offset of +6, and so we went 200, 400, let's do 600 with an offset of 6, and then lastly we'll put one here. We'll put it at 795 and at 6. And then we'll hit escape, and that is our pipe network. What we want to do is we could take a look at this using the pipe network Vistas here, which is just the window here that shows us all of our pipes and structures. So we'll close out of the tools here. So under the structures, you can see all of these structures, and if you look over here, they give you a reference alignment and then the stations, and we can actually sort these if we wanted to by station. And so you can see, you could rename these if you wanted, but this was just the first structure, second, third, fourth, and fifth that we created. If we go to the pipes, we've got all of our pipes here, and you can actually see some of these have some warnings on them. So the maximum cover is violated. It just means it's a little bit too deep. The maximum pipe length's violated, probably on most of these, because they're just over 200 feet. This is the plan view, and what we could do is actually add some labels. So if you click on them, you could add a label for the single part of our plan view. And then, oops. So you can see there's our label. You can add another one. But the next thing we want to do is actually add this to our plan, or our profile. So I'm going to select it and right click and go to select similar, and then right click and draw parts in profile view. And then we need to find our Cabernet profile. So it appears that that first pipe was trending to an elevation of 0. What I ended up doing was just regenerating the drawing. I moved this over, and then I ended up using my snaps to move this back to the right spot here. And then that fixed up my profile. The other thing I want to do is right click or select my profile and go to Profile View Properties. You can see under the pipe networks, we've got all the pipes shown, but what I want to do is actually turn on all of our structures as well. And this will allow us to look at our manhole covers here. This one is still messed up, so we're going to click on it, go to Structure Properties, and under the Insert Rim Behavior, we're going to change this to a foot, and then we'll change it back to 0. And the problem is that this pipe probably is too high, so let's lower that. We can just use our control points there, and then let's try to move the top of this pipe back, or top of this manhole cover again. So I'll change it to 1 foot, just see if it actually applies. Looks like it worked. And then let's reset it back to 0 to bring that top of manhole cover to the right spot. You can see we've got an appropriate slope here of probably 1%, and then this pipe's actually going the wrong direction. So we're going to need to bring that down, and that was a lot further than I had intended, so I'll drag it back up. And all of these probably need to shift up to some degree here. So what we could do is we could drag them up individually. I'm going to turn off object snaps, so we can raise all these up. That way our manhole structures don't have to be so deep. And then we could also change the slope of these. So I could go to Pipe Properties, and then it goes from structure 4 to structure 5 for this particular pipe properties. This goes from structure 1 to 2, so this is the end. So I'm going to hold the end, and I'm going to use a slope of -1. And you can see that automatically updates the slope. So we can actually specify our slopes. I think every one of these should be a slope of 1. We could probably increase the slope of this one as well. just so we're going to hold the start of this one just so it's not so deep of a manhole here. Obviously you would want to be sizing these based off of your hydraulics and water resources instructions. That way we can actually quantify the amount of water we have to capture and what size pipes we need and how we want to set the locations of where all these pipes intersect with our manhole structures. But this is the basics here. We've got our plan view of our distribution, and then we've got our profile that allows us to look at not only the existing grade but the roadway, and then also our pipe network plan view. So once we've got the pipe network laid out here for this particular section of the road, we are done with this tutorial, so we'll save it and we'll leave off